Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. We are going to do a little landscape painting today. I'm Tisa Blackburn and I'm your Acrylic Diva. And I have some paint here that I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to the overhead camera here in a minute. Let's look at some paint. I think we're going to paint with heavy body paint today. So I am going to use golden heavy body paint. Let me crop in a little bit on that so you can see those labels. There we go. And that is the golden, I believe that is called the Golden Essentials set, the 6 colors there. That's really about all you need. You don't need a whole lot more than that. So we're going to start with these. We're going to do a little landscape painting today. And as soon as I tuck my microphone cord in, I will get started. All right, let's put out some quinacridone magenta. Let me come back out on the camera so you can see everything pretty clearly. There we go. Okay, so I am going to, and if you have questions, just put it in the chat. You know what? I'm going to actually type something in the chat so you can see where the chat is. I think I can do that. Can I do that while I'm live? I'll just type hello there. And then you can, that way you can see the chat over there on the right-hand side. It may be different if you're on a mobile device. Okay, so questions for me, just put them in the chat. You know, I'm your Acrylic Diva. I've been an acrylic painter for many, many years. And I've been teaching acrylic painting for a really long time, way long time. So, you know, if you have questions as we go along, just put them in the chat box and I would love to answer them for you, okay? All right, let's go back to the overhead camera. Let's put our quinacridone magenta out. And I'm using heavy body today. Sometimes I use the fluids. These are the fluids here. Same pigment, different consistency, okay? So today we're doing heavy body. We'll use a little bit of heavy body paint. I've got some benzimidazzole yellow that I've got here. We need plenty of yellow and some titanium white. And you know, I'm running a little low on heavy body titanium white, so I may actually bring in some fluid titanium white. And that's the nice thing about these paints. You can actually use both of these consistencies together if you want to. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'll start out with heavy body titanium white. I've got more, but I just don't have it handy, so I may end up actually using the fluids. Okay. All right. So let's put a little phthalo blue. Someone says to me in the chat they can't see the top of the page. Not sure what page we're talking about. It looks like to me in my window you guys can see all of the palette and the little panel that I'm painting on. If you have trouble seeing things, let me know. If you have trouble hearing, let me know. Okay, we're going to start with that. We'll just start with those colors, and we're going to do just some rolling hills with a really pretty sky. I think we'll do a turquoise sky, kind of like New Mexico. You know, I'm going to be in New Mexico in October, so I'm kind of getting my New Mexico vibe going. So I'll just put a little tiny bit of water. Don't make your brush too wet, okay? You don't want to bring a lot of water into the paint. So let's start with a little quin magenta, and I'm just going to put it right down on my canvas. I like to blend on the canvas. I don't like to mix my paint over here. I like to blend right on the canvas. And you know, I said I was going to do a New Mexico sky, and I started out with quin magenta because I'm so used to doing that. Maybe I'll pull a little of the benzimidazzole in and give it a little sunset look here. A little bit of sunset. grab that titanium white. We don't want it too dark. So let's just blend a little bit here, right on the canvas, blend right on the canvas. It's an easy way to do it. And you know, let me know where you're coming in from in the chat. Where are you watching from? Are you here in the United States? I'm going to put a tiny bit of water, very little bit of water. Be really careful with the amount of water that you use, because it will make a mess on your canvas. Trust me on that. So I'm going to have a really low horizon line. I'm going to bring my sky down pretty far. Let's get a little more titanium white. I want it lighter down here because I want my hills to be able, I want some contrast with my hills. So I will bring a little bit of that titanium white down here. I'm just trying to get a pretty sky going. Let's grab a little bit more of that Ben's yellow. Hi Jeannie, you're watching from Maui. Welcome Maui. Hope you guys are doing well over there. What's the weather like over there, Jeannie? Are you guys getting some sunshine? Okay. Well, this could almost be a Maui sky, right? Couldn't it? a little bit of Maui. And I'm just the tiniest bits of water, you all. Really, really want you not to use a lot of water, okay? Because as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. Here's my water container. And I'm taking my brush and I'm just barely touching it in that water, okay? So if you look over here on my palette, I don't have a bunch of soupy water everywhere, okay? Super important. Okay. Let's throw a little more titanium white down here. I want my horizon line, down by my horizon line, I want it to be kind of light. And also remember, when you are painting a sky like this, I'm going to talk to you guys for a minute. When you're painting a sky like this, remember that you want to bring your sky all the way down past where your land starts. You don't want them to just meet up like that. So you want to get that sky all the way down. So I'm going down a little further than what I really need to. But then I'm going to overlap that with my land, so it'll look nice that way. If you just have them meet right here, it doesn't have as much of it doesn't have as much realism to it. It's not that, you know, it's not as though we're painting super realistic, but you do want to have a little sense of depth there. So I'm just wiping my brush, and I'm not getting my brush super wet and washing it. So I'm just going to wipe it. Okay, put that to the side. Now you don't want to let the paint dry on your brush, but I may be using this brush again, so I don't want to put it in the water just yet. So I'm going to start with my hills. Got some hills I'm going to do here. And I'm using the Princeton Aqua Elite brush. I believe that is in your, let me double check and see if that is in your description. Yeah, I've got a set of Princeton brushes in the description. But this particular brush is the Aqua Elite. Now this is supposed to be a watercolor brush, but one of the reasons I use it with acrylic is because it makes these beautiful brush strokes. Just gorgeous brush strokes. As a matter of fact, let me show you a sample of that. So here's a little piece of paper. Let me show you what this brush can do, because it is such a wonderful brush. And I will put the link for this in the description as well. So if I load this brush, I'm gonna get it wet, but then I'm gonna squeeze it out and make sure it's not too wet, just barely moist. But look at the point on that brush. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, check this out. I'm gonna have green hills. So I'll start with a little phthalo blue, very tiny bit of phthalo blue. Get some of that beautiful benzimidazzolone. Look at that green. Yum! Now watch what this brush does. If I take this brush and I just start drawing with it and I roll it, see how I'm rolling it? Look at the contour line that makes right there. That the brush actually does all the work for me. When I'm painting something like hills or something with, you know, that needs a really pretty contour line, the brush does the work. Look at that. Just roll that brush. Roll it. And you have beautiful lines, beautiful brush strokes. That's why I use these brushes. This Princeton Aqua Elite brushes. They are stunning. They're so pretty. And they do great, great brush strokes. So let's take our phthalo blue, little benzimidazzolone there. Let's make a pretty green. And if you'll notice, I've only got 3 colors out on my palette. My primary mixing colors here. It's really all I need. I'm going to do pretty much everything I need with just those 3 colors. So I've got a little bit of that pretty green. And I'm going to overlap this area here because I brought my sky way down. I'm going to overlap this, and I'm just going to build some really pretty hills right here. So I'll just start here and I'll just roll that brush. Just roll it. And that kind of establishes a really nice contour line for me. I'm going to come back and get a little bit more of that phthalo, a little bit of titanium. I don't want all my greens to be exactly the same. So I want a little bit lighter green back here, like so. Kind of a little bit bluer, a little bit lighter. Let's put a little more titanium white into that. Just roll that brush. Such a pretty brush. And see those yummy brush strokes? Let me crop in a little bit so you can see those brush strokes. See what I mean? Where you get those nice brush strokes. The brush is doing the work, right? All right, let me come back out so you can see. Okay. Let's continue here. I'm going to pick up a little of that yellow. Just let it work right on the canvas. Let's grab a little phthalo. A little bit darker now. Little phthalo. Grab some of that titanium white. Little benzimidazzolone. And this is the Princeton Aqua Elite size 12. I also like the size 8. I have a size 8 here that I use sometimes. But even though I'm painting on this small canvas, that size 12 is perfect. Just gives me all this lovely variation. And of course, because I'm basically working with just a couple colors and white, I'm not going to make a muddy mess. My colors are going to stay clean, and I won't make a bunch of mud. I'll make some mud in a minute on purpose, but just to get started, I'm just going to establish these hills here, like so. Get a little titanium white there. And because I'm mixing on the canvas and not over here, everything has a little bit more variety, you know? So you get some really nice changes in color and everything. Let's get a little bit more of that benzimidazolone yellow. A little more titanium white here. Change up the value a little bit. Okay, now we're getting down here towards the lower part of our canvas. And so let's change our color a little bit. And we'll go into something that's a little bit more muted. And we'll make a kind of a pretty mud, if you will. So I'm going to, let me get back over to chat and see if there are any more questions. Hi. Okay, love 2012. What are you saying here? You Quin Magenta is your favorite. Me too. Me too. I can never have enough Quin Magenta. How could we ever have too much Quin Magenta? That's not possible. So look here, I've got green, a kind of a green on my brush here. And I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe my brush. It's not going in the water. I know I keep saying that over and over and over again, but that is the biggest mistake acrylic painters make, is they use too much water in their paint. So try not to do that, especially on these small canvases. You probably don't need it, you know. Okay, so now I've got this kind of green, my brush is dirty, right? So if I go into Quin Magenta with this green on my brush, we're gonna do a little thing called complementary color mixing. And what happens when you take two colors, let's look at the color wheel. Here's a color wheel. When you take two colors that are on the opposite sides of the color wheel and you mix them together, they're gonna mute each other down and they make some really pretty muted colors. So I'll show you how that works. A little bit of green here. Let's take the Quin Magenta right with my dirty brush. And I'm going to go back into that green. I'm going to grab just a tiny smidge of it. You don't want to go crazy. Tiny smidge of that green. Put it into the Quin Magenta. Let's grab a little titanium white. We're still too pink. It's not muted enough. Let's grab a little more of that green. Don't be scared of it. As a matter of fact, it looks like we're doing better down here. We've got more green down here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make some more green. Let's get that phthalo, the benzimidazolone, we'll make a green. And I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to put that Quin Magenta right into it. And you're probably thinking, holy cow, she's just making a big mess. But look at that. Look how pretty that is. Let's put a little titanium white in it so you can see. Look at that. Just this really pretty muted purple that we got from making green and Quin Magenta. Now, maybe we don't want it purple. Let's make it a little bit browner. To do that, I will just grab a little bit of my benzimidazolone yellow. Look at that. That's exactly what we wanted right there. So we have this pretty muted kind of mud color. Kind of a mud, kind of a pretty mud, right? Look at that, beautiful. Let's add a little more titanium white to it. Now see, that just fits in beautifully with that green that we were using. And it's like, how does that work? It's because we're using all of these colors here and we're not going out and using 64 different colors. Because we're using these three colors over and over again, everything's gonna have harmony. It's gonna all work together. So I can just go to my purple here, add a little bit of benzimidazolone yellow to it, or Hansa yellow, or whatever yellow you've got, and see how that kind of ochre color comes up. Let me come in just a little bit. I'll crop in a little bit so you can see those color shifts. See those color shifts right there? Isn't that pretty? Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. So I'm going to take my purple that I made over here, and I'm going to add a little more Quin Magenta to it. And I'll just come back over here and bring it in. I need just the tiniest bit of water on my brush. It's getting a little dry. Look at that. Gorgeous colors, just gorgeous. And they all blend together and work together because we really only have 3 colors here. Let's get a little more Hansa there. I mean, titanium white. Oh yeah, that's all kinds of good stuff. Okay. It's just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of water, not much. Don't go crazy with the water. Be really careful with the amount of water that you use. Okay, over here, let's go back and get a little bit more of that yellow. I'm going to put that yellow right down with my dirty purple brush. The brush has that beautiful, gorgeous muted purple on it. Grab some more yellow. Hold my canvas so it doesn't walk away. Grab a little bit of that purple. I mean, that's just how hard that is, you guys. Just basically set up a small palette, I mean a limited palette, and keep using those colors over and over again. And you know, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. Okay, now I am going to wash my brush just because I'm going to make some trees. I'm going to wash my brush and dry it really, really well. Now, what I will probably do is I will go to my size 8, my Princeton Acrylics size 8 for my brush, for my trees. Now for my trees, actually before I do my trees, I want to put a little cloud action up here in the sky. So I'm going to get a little gloss medium just to loosen up my white paint a little bit. Don't need much. And I'll go back to my size 12 brush. I'm going to get a little gloss medium and I'm going to grab some titanium white. I want my titanium white kind of loosey-goosey for this, but you definitely don't want water. Definitely don't want water. So let's have a little titanium white on this brush and we'll just have a little, you know, cloud action going here. So I just want some really soft cloud action happening, and that gloss medium gives me the ability to soften these. Let's get a little more gloss medium. Soften those brush strokes. So I can just soften them, blend them a little bit. I may want to come back and bring in a little Quin Magenta. Let's do that. With my brush from earlier, we'll get a little bit of that Quin Magenta just to blend these. Just blend them really soft. Put my yellow back in there. I'm going to have to come back with a little titanium white and lighten that up because I went a little crazy with the yellow. There we go. Went a little nuts with the yellow. A little more Quin Magenta. I can't get enough of that Quin Magenta. My brush is getting kind of dry, so I'm going over here into the gloss medium to help things flow a little better. There we go, much better. Okay, I went a little crazy. Went a little crazy on my sky. But I just wanted a little cloud action there, and I went a little nuts, but that's all right. We'll soften it up a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Now I've got a nice blend going there. Okay. Crazy sky time. I really just wanted some, I just really wanted a little white there, and I kind of went nuts, but that's better than nothing. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Stop playing with the sky. And back to my trees. So for my trees, I am going to come into my phthalo blue and my quin magenta, and I'm just going to make a dark purple, just a dark purple. It'll look almost black, but you really just want a dark. It could be dark green, it could be dark red, it could be dark brown, it could be any dark you want it to be. But it's going to look black on the canvas, and that's really all you need. You just need a dark. So we're going to make some trees off in the distance. We're going to make some here, and they're going to be pretty small. So really all you need to do is just kind of dab. So I'm just going to maybe put a couple little trees right here and here maybe. Don't get carried away with trying to paint leaves and limbs and all that kind of stuff. It's just not, you know, it's too far in the distance. You don't need that kind of detail. It's just establishing something off in the distance. So there's those right there. Let's have maybe one more right here. 3 is always good. Okay. That's plenty in the background. This one looks like it's falling over. There. Okay, let's have a couple in the middle ground here. And remember now, this is probably wet right here. So you'll want to be careful about painting down on top of this layer if you haven't let them dry. So let's have one right here. And when you're doing these, make sure that you break the line of the hill behind. Don't leave it touching the hill behind. That'll look a little odd, you know? So let's have one here. Like so. Maybe it needs a pal right next to it. A little bit shorter maybe. And the thing when you're painting these trees, I'm going to go to the piece of paper here for a minute. When you're painting these trees, paint them, sort of dab them. Don't really draw them. What you want to do is, I'm going to paint a really big one here. What you want to do is just kind of dab when you're building those trees. Just dab like that. Then you can come back if you need to. You can come back and work a few more leaves in there if you need to, that kind of thing. Much better to do it this way than to try to do this, right? Because this one won't look as good as this one. You know, trees are not solid objects. You can see light through them. So you're going to want to kind of dab it a little bit, okay? So that's the tree lesson for today. We need a sky lesson too, because I kind of messed up my sky, but we'll get back to that. We may come back and fix it, maybe not, I don't know. We'll see. Okie doke. Let's have some trees in the foreground. They're going to be larger. What I like to do with the trees when I'm doing bigger trees is I like to kind of draw the middle of it first. So I want a large tree right here. So that kind of establishes where it's going to live. And then I can come back and kind of build build that tree out. And that kind of helps me establish that tree. And you can make them wider, you can make them thicker, you can do all kinds of things. But once you've kind of got it established, then you can flesh it out, so to speak. Okay, let's have another tree next to it, a tree buddy. Make sure you have plenty of paint on your brush when you're doing these. This one's going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, I should say. Right next to his pal here. Okay. And his trunk needs to be a little more defined. There we go. I think we'll do one more tree. Maybe we won't do a tree. Let's do a shrub here in the foreground. We'll just do a little shrub here. And see how I'm just dabbing? Just dabbing. Really, because remember, those plants are not solid objects. So you're going to be able to see air through them and whatnot, you know. So that'll kind of give you, let's do one little tiny something right here. There we go. Just a sort of a rendition of what a tree might look like. Okay? Not getting too fancy. Cleaned my brush, got my brush nice and clean, and the sky is really bugging me. So I want to play with the sky a little bit. This is probably a mistake, but let's see what I can do to it. Let me know if you have questions. We are coming up on 40 minutes. I'll work on the sky for a little bit. I've got some gloss medium on my brush, and I've got, you know what I'm going to do this time? So I'm going to put some fluid titanium out so it'll flow a little better. And let's see if I can ruin the sky anymore. Let's see if I can make a real mess here. Whoops, wrong brush. Had the wrong brush there. I need my flat brush for this. Okay. Let's just see if we can blend this a little better than what we had there before, because it was a little choppy, I'm determined to make this blend better, which may be a big mistake, but wouldn't be the first time. Just mixing up some soft colors over here. Oops, way too much titanium white there. I'm a little crazy with the titanium white. Let's thin that out with some gloss medium. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, I did go kind of crazy there, didn't I? All right, let's work on that white area that I kind of managed to make look real goofy. Let's soften that up a little bit. And the gloss medium is really your friend when you're trying to glaze like this, like what I'm doing here. Especially when you make a kind of a boo-boo and you want to kind of come back and see if you can blend things together, make it a little bit softer. That gloss medium is going to be your best friend. So much better than water. Water is not your friend in a situation like this, not at all. Gloss medium will make the paint just glide, real silky. Let's get a little Quin Magenta. I want just a hint of Quin Magenta. See if I can pull a little Quin Magenta up into that upper area here. There we go. Yay! That's what I was looking for. Much better. Much, much, much better. A little bit nicer blend, a little bit softer blend there. Not quite so dramatic. And the gloss medium, boy, I'll tell you, that is the ticket. That really is. Get you that nice soft blend. Love it. Let's have a tiny bit of titanium white. Gotta watch it, don't go crazy. Just trying to get a little bit of cloud action going there. Okay, I'm much happier with that sky now. I think I managed to bring it back from the brink of disaster. So there is our little landscape for today. I'm going to be doing these pretty much on a regular basis. So be sure you hit that subscribe button and get notifications. When you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell as well, and you'll get notifications when I go live. It'll usually be Wednesdays. Today is a little different because I'm going to be traveling tomorrow, but look for those on Wednesday. And you can always grab me on my website at acrylicdiva.com. And if you have questions, there's tons of videos here on YouTube for you to watch. This will be posted so you can go back and look at the replay and see how I fixed the sky that I managed to mess up. So let's take a look at it one more time. Here we go. Remember that limited palette. I'm going to put those colors out for you. Just, whoops, where'd my phthalo blue go? Just these three colors, really. Phthalo blue, Quin Magenta, and benzimidazoline. And you could use Hansa yellow, but these are professional grade artist colors from Golden, and that's going to give you that big, beautiful color. I think I have those listed in the description too. So Jeannie, you're welcome. Thanks for joining me. Make sure if y'all have questions to throw me an email. You can find me on the website, acrylicdiva.com. And we also have Saturday classes that you can come and join us. We paint on Saturdays, so that's over on the website as well, okay? Everybody have a great day. And remember what I always say, keep painting. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.